Hey guys, Adi here. Welcome back to this series. Today we'll cover the single post page. We'll have a look at its structure and we'll create some of the elements that usually are present in posts, like images with captions and block quotes and stuff like that. And finally, in the last video, we'll tackle the comments area and the comment form. So I made a copy of the page we created in the previous videos. And the first thing I'm going to do is go and delete all the posts except the very first one, and also the post navigation. So delete everything. So all we're left with is this. Okay, nice. Let's start with this text. I'm gonna move it out of the way because if we have a featured image, it's gonna be shown right here at the very top. Okay, so post image. And also it needs to be a bit bigger. So I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna add like 42 pixels to it to make it a bit bigger. Okay, now the text is gonna go under it. Something like that. And of course we don't need a separator anymore. And we don't need a read more link since we're already in the page. But what we do need, and this is something that you should do when you are at this stage of the design process, is make sure you have all the styles defined for block quotes, for the headings. Make sure you have the font sizes and the styles, and for images, if you have images with captions, images that are left aligned, right aligned, stuff like that. So I'm gonna do first of all the headings. Okay, so we'll be doing heading 1, heading 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and I know my headings will have the same color, 2B 3039. Okay, and let's see, the first 4 headings will have the font family of Brie Serif. Okay, the very first one is 32 pixels. The second one is 28 pixels. 26 pixels, sorry. The third one is 20 pixels. The fourth one is 16 pixels. The fifth one will be 14 pixels, but it's going to be uppercase. And finally, heading 6 is going to be 12 pixels. And it's going to be slightly lighter color, like C9, 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 something like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this. And the next thing I want to do is an image with a caption. Okay, so let's do it like this. Since my dummy text shortcut is not working, sorry about this. I'm gonna make this really quick. So I want to put an image right here, and I'm gonna keep the same image size, and I'm gonna make it 210, and the width is not really important, so I'm gonna make it 210 by 210. Okay, make sure I align this properly. .28 pixels from the right. Okay, let's make this white. I'm gonna call it image with caption, and I'm gonna apply the same effects that we have on the other white boxes. So copy layer style, and I'm gonna paste it right here. And inside it, I'm gonna do something like this. I'm gonna do a selection, go to select, modify, contract by 3 pixels, and I'm gonna do a layer called img placeholder. I'll just give it a random color. Since it's not that important. And I'm gonna make the image a bit smaller, yeah? So I'm gonna cut a big chunk of that and add our caption. So this is the caption. Helvetica New, it's gonna be 12 pixels, italic, and it's gonna have the same color as the heading 6. So that is C9, C9, C9. Okay, so this is the caption. Now this might look a bit, you know, too light, but it's also caused by the anti-alias that I have, crisp. So if I set it to sharp, it kind of brings it up a bit. Okay, so center line. For some reason, Photoshop just seems to be acting up today. I don't know why. Okay. So this is the caption. And that is how it's supposed to look like. All right. The very next thing I want to add is a style for a block quote. So I'm going to do it right here just to save some space and some time. So this is img, and I'm going to say block quote. Okay, now the block quote, something very simple. Let's do, this is a great quote by a great author. I'm going to put my own name in there. Let's see. The color of the actual quote should be very some very light color. So I'm gonna keep it like this, but I'm gonna make it a bit bigger. So that should be about 18 pixels, and it should be Georgia. So Georgia italic, yeah. The author name, I will revert to the actual text color, 5B, 5B, 5B. And the last thing we need to do is add a kind of a left border to it. So I'm gonna make one that's about 3 pixels in width, and this one will take the height of the actual block quote. As for color, I'll do the same color as the text inside. All right, something like that. Grab the text, and we'll leave a gap of about 28 pixels. And let's actually have a look at the finished theme, because for some reason, okay, so the text is a bit smaller. I couldn't remember, to be honest. I couldn't remember the text size. So let's make this a bit smaller and bold. I think that's 14 pixels. Yeah, that's 14 pixels and bold. And let's make the author name 12 pixels. And it should be done something like this. Okay, that's a bit better. And also, now that I look at it, we have a small pattern applied to it. So let's select this. We'll call it SEP pattern overlay, and I think it's that diagonal pattern that I have right here. Yeah, there it is. Or this one. Yeah, this is the one, pixel pattern 1. And you can also find it in a collection by Orman Clark over at Premium Pixels. Okay, I think we need to make this a lighter color. Okay, something like that. And I'm gonna make this thicker, like 7 pixels, and also the same size as our original quote. All right, let's actually make this 5 pixels, and why don't we add, let's add a bit of spacing on the top of the text. So just 7 pixels, and also 7 pixels from this point. Let's see, it's 39, so it's gonna be 46. Okay, something like that. Okay, and that looks much better. Okay, so let's grab this quote and position it somewhere around here. Okay, we'll push it to the right by 28 pixels. So now it looks something like that. All right, now you might see me make certain changes on the fly to the way things look. And that's because I don't spend that much time in Photoshop. I usually just get a sense of the colors and layout, and I do a lot of changes when I actually code it. So if I want a different color, I'm gonna change it when I code it. And I do that because when you start writing the HTML and CSS, things just kind of sit differently in the page. So you get a much better sense of what's going on and how things should look like when you're actually coding. All right, so we did the block quote, we did the caption on the image, we did the headings. That's pretty much it for the actual content. The last thing that I want to do is add an area here for the author. So before we do that, let's increase the canvas size. Okay, let's move the footer out of the way, all the way down here. Let's also increase this, the main background. Let's also increase the grid since we're at it. And let's also increase the baseline. Perfect. Oops, that was a bit too much. Okay, now for the author. Let's see, post. We'll rename this to post content. And I'll make something that's called author info. Okay, now for author info, I'm gonna use a heading 3. And it's gonna be called article by. All right, this will be a link. Actually, I think I'll go with something a bit simpler, like Helvetica new 14 pixels and bold. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay, so I'll start with a rectangle. Now this will be the same color as this bottom rectangle, FA, FA, FA. We'll call it base. Let's mask those edges. And let's add a stroke on the top. Now I only want the stroke on the very top, so I'm not going to use a layer style, but I'm going to use a simple line to show that. So top border, the color is going to be D7, D7, D7. Let's also hide that. Okay, perfect. Now, there is one little detail that we must not forget, the bevel effect. Since we're creating this, let's call it rubber band, across the whole content area, it's only normal that it has a bevel as well. So instead of applying the layer effect, I'm gonna do something even simpler, like make a selection that's 5 pixels in diameter, in width, sorry, Jesus. Okay, so I make this selection and we'll go to adjustments, brightness and contrast, and then just lower the brightness until we get to about 30, 35. Let's have a look. Now it's starting to take shape, so feel free to play around with it. I'm gonna leave it at 30 and I'm gonna duplicate it. On the right side as well. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's move this on the top. Okay, now just in case the author has filled in its biography in the WordPress admin, we gotta show that right here as well. So I'm gonna copy this. Okay, and that's gonna be the author biography. All right, perfect. Let's resize this. We don't need it to be this this large. Okay, and I'm just gonna move it to the bottom. Okay, like this, because we need to add just a few more elements to this page. Let's not forget about the tags, right? So let's add the tags to the post. So I'm gonna say tags. Let's draw some separators here. That's one. It's gonna have the same color as this. Okay, but before we move on, let's fix this. I accidentally moved the whole thing, the whole content area. Okay, so we were adding the tags. So just some simple styling here, tags like tag 1, tag 2. Okay. Italic, 12 pixels. And this is bold. And it's, of course, a link. Same goes for this one, bold, link. Okay, so those are the tags. Okay. And also, one of the things that many authors kind of forget about when developing WordPress theme is post pagination, because you can have multiple pages in the blog index showing, you know, posts in different pages, but you can also have pagination inside a post. A post is divided into several pages if it's too long, for example. So we gotta do some links for those as well. So just very quickly, we'll do page 1, and page 2, and these are links. Okay, except for this big boy right here, which is a normal, normal text. Okay. Great. Okay, so now we're done. We're just gonna move the author info up. I'm gonna leave some extra spacing there. And now move this like that to the top. All right. Let's target these areas right here. Okay, and finally we'll do the same. We'll duplicate this, the brightness and contrast. We'll rotate it like that and put it in the bottom right here. So we'll keep our bevel effect. Okay, and there it is. This is a very simple post page, single post page, but its layout is going to help us develop all the other layouts for the posts. And that's it for this video. The next one will be about the comments area. We'll do some nice comments, nested comments, and also we'll build a comment form. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.